Hey guys, so let me just futz with my camera for a second. That should be fine. Alright, so I'm sorry first of all for taking so long to get this to you. I don't know if you guys know, but I'm filming on a DSLR. You can kind of see it up there. I'm filming on a DSLR and there's tons of problems that go along with that for me. Mostly huge video size and a lot of points of failure. Basically, I had like this non-Canon battery that I was using for my camera because I couldn't find the real Canon battery because it's a Canon camera, so it was like an off-brand battery that was doing fine, but then it just stopped holding a charge, I guess, and ruined my life without me realizing. And then last week my problem was that my video file was so huge that YouTube never said it uploaded, so I'm gonna try and do better. We'll see. I obviously have a appropriate battery for my camera now. So that's fine. Hopefully that won't be a problem anymore. And I'm just going to give up and edit on my crappy laptop and deal with it. It's not crappy. It's a good laptop. It's just a little slow for my liking. Irene set me up with a really fast, dual monitor, Windows desktop, and man, everything looks terrible in comparison. Okay, well I'm just going to get right down into it because I have a lot to say. Kristen Stiles' video really brought up a lot of points for me. First of all, Kristen Stiles, congratulations on your new job. I wonder when you start. I want to hear all about it, what you're doing and all that. I just got a new job. It's not nearly as cool as yours. I'm just going to be a legal assistant at a law firm in Georgetown, which is like 20 minutes away from where I live. Really small law firm, just going to be doing customer service. It'll be fine. 4 days a week, give me plenty of time to write. I'm submitting to a manuscript contest on the 7th, so keep that in mind. I will be dying. It's not very, I only have to turn in like less than 3,000 words, but I'm agonizing. So yeah, hopefully that all works out. I'll keep you guys updated on that if you want. Kristen Falls, today's Friday. It's your day and I'm making a video on your day and I'm very sorry. But today you're doing your opera scenes, so good luck and congratulations, and I'm sure it's going to be great. You're always great, so I hope you have a lot of fun and things go really well for you. Let's see. Oh, before we get in, no, I'll do that after. Okay, so, Kristen Stiles talked about a lot of things I want to bring up really fast. So part of it was, she mentioned how it was rough for her because her weight fluctuated, and man, can I relate to that. So, I don't know if it's my scale or something, but I've been like fluctuating several pounds day to day. Like, I don't know what is going on, and I know it's not my period anymore because it finally ended. Like, PCOS makes me have the worst period. Sorry, this might be a little TMI, but like days and weeks, okay, of disaster. So no, that's over. It's not a factor anymore, so I don't know what's messing up my numbers. I mean, yeah, okay, personal responsibility. I'm sure things could be going better, but like, not that much. And I totally get where you're coming from on the rough time this is emotionally. It's a different situation for me, honestly, because I'm married and I've been out of school for a little while, but that doesn't mean I don't have those feelings because, man, I just don't know what my life is going to be like, which sounds ridiculous because compared to a lot of people my age, I have a pretty solid thing going on. Like, I'm married, we have a good income, I have health insurance. Like, I understand for me to complain is coming from a place of privilege that I probably don't deserve to complain from. But like, as an individual who has a sense of, you know, place in her world and wants to know what's ahead and where my dreams will take me and, you know, what I'll even be doing like a few years from now, it's rough. And I can honestly tell you I've moved several times. This is the first city I've lived in since I knew all of you guys that I've had like a good group of friends. And that all happened really by chance. And I am so happy that I have friends here because I just couldn't do it again. I could not live in another city where I didn't know a single person. And I didn't care to know a single person. It was just, living in Las Vegas was a disaster. But, so I'm happy here finally, and like I said, I know there's a lot I do have going on in my life that's going pretty well, but that doesn't mean I don't have big insecurities still, so I at least understand that, and I can understand how that makes it very hard to get other things done. You know, Maslow's hierarchy of needs, I think that's like total crap, because yeah, I think it might also be because I have bipolar disorder or whatever, but you know, you're not supposed to be able to worry about things like existential thoughts or like your place in the universe until you've, you know, got the base level stuff down. Like, how am I going to feed myself, right? But I've always worried about the big picture way more than anything else. Let me try and fix this. I feel like keeping my frame. Is that better? Yeah. Anyway, I might just be a little messed up in my view of things, but at least we're both, probably all of us, are worrying about the same thing. So Kristen Stiles had a big overarching question this past week, which was, how do you turn your plans and your goals into results? That is definitely a $1 million question. I can tell you, my mom has devoted classes after class of teaching executives, trying to get to that exact same point, and man, it is not easy. Honestly, I'm gonna be really straightforward and say I probably don't have an answer. But what really got to me from your last video was you more talking about, you know, where you're coming from on this weight loss thing and why you want it. And I can sort of relate. I mean, like you said, you have PCOS and so do I, and I know what that can do to your motivation and, you know, the realization that things will always be different for you. It's rough. I don't have the same, you know, problem with fertility that you do. Like, it's not a big deal for me. I've always wanted to adopt kids, so it wasn't a blow for me, but I can imagine that'd be really disheartening. But man, our like origin stories are pretty different. I'm pretty sure even when I was a baby, I was overweight, and I've only gotten more and more overweight as I grew up. I mean, as a child, I was obese, and I became an obese teenager who became an obese adult. And there has never been a day where that hasn't influenced me, where I haven't thought about that first, you know? And that's rough. But it led to a lot of problems in my life, basically with how I viewed myself. And man, I've been on every diet there has ever been. Weight Watchers, Atkins, South Beach, blah blah blah, forever and ever. I have tried all of them, and I'm gonna tell you, it was never because I wanted to. My parents were so well intentioned, and I don't know what I would have done differently as a parent, but it never helped me feel better. It just made me feel like there was something wrong with me. Which, yeah, I mean, technically, if you want to think about it like that, there was, but I feel like the priority should have been placed on making me feel happy first, and then I don't think you can change yourself in a meaningful way if you're not doing it from a place of acceptance and love. So that's kind of what my thought has always been, though. The exact opposite of that. Like, people always told me I'd be happier when I was skinny, or I'd be able to do more, have more friends, be more successful. And if you look at, like, the logic of that, like, that's messed up, right? You should do good now. You should be who you are now and be happy with that. But when you look at the numbers, like, statistically speaking, people who are obese, like not just overweight but like obese, have a harder time getting jobs and are typically paid less and generally, you know, treated worse. So yeah, I can understand why they, although I can understand why my parents told me that, their feelings weren't coming from a place of paranoia. I mean, it's the reality, but it's still not something that inspires you to change. It more made me feel like I was trapped by who I was, and I had been trying to change that, or someone had been trying to change that fact about me almost my whole life. So it made me feel not only was I stuck this way forever, but that because of that, no one would ever like me, which is a really depressing thing to say about yourself when you're like 17. So it took a lot of therapy, if I'm being perfectly honest, to get to a point in my life where I realized that I couldn't have that mentality of I'll be happy if I can just be different than who I am now, because it's not fair to wait, first of all, make yourself be miserable and promise yourself later on things will change when you can't make that promise. And also it's a really terrible way to have to deal with every day, to just think of just getting through until you can be happy. And I decided to just be happy now. And that's the only thing that's ever given me any real motivation or confidence to change. And even then, I've tried not to make it about my weight, because the reality is that because of PCOS, it's hard for me to lose weight. And there's actually a lot of studies about, long-term weight loss for people who have been at least as obese as I've been my whole life. The reality of what that would look like to maintain a large weight loss. And, maybe I will, but if I don't, that doesn't mean I shouldn't try to improve myself and be healthy and, do all the things I want to do in my life. And one of those things is to live a long life and try and minimize my risk of disease. So that's more where I'm coming at it from, and weight is a fair metric. It's not perfect, but it's definitely something I'm looking at. But I'm not going to place my whole be all and end all on losing weight, especially because, historically that hasn't led to good things mentally for me. So that's why I'm trying to focus on making healthy changes. And that was weird. My camera just stopped recording. I wonder if it stops recording if it gets to too large a video size. That would make sense. It's probably also really long, and I'm sorry about that. Okay. So back to Kristen. I'm sorry, that was a really long roundabout way to talk about what I was trying to talk about, which was your overarching question on how do we take our goals and dreams and turn them into actions. And historically, I've had the same problem. I have such a hard time motivating, and I was just at this writing workshop where, we got to talk to someone who does writing every day, Right now she's working on a book, so she's taking a sabbatical and she's just writing. And about what her schedule looks like. And so she had us write down, if we had all the time in the world, free day, every day, what would our schedule look like to write? And we modeled it after her schedule because some people just didn't know where to start, right? And then she has to take it down from, our whole day being about writing to what our days really look like in the real world, and we could fit in even part of that writing lifestyle into our current day-to-day. And everyone found out that they had, a reasonable amount of time somewhere. And then we had a writing exercise where we wrote about why we don't just do it. Like, what is keeping us back? What are you afraid of? What's the block? And first thing people wrote down in our first round of writing was really, logistics, or like, I work, I have people to take care of, all these things. And she's like, all right, well, now look at those things on your list, and you've already told me you can find some time in the first exercise before this one, so there's obviously something deeper than that, and what is it? And a lot of people wrote about being afraid of not doing well, not being able to write, not writing correctly. And most of it is that you have these plans, in your brain. You have this idea of how much better things will be if you could just do this thing. If I would lose weight, I could, I know how I'm going to do it, I know what I'm going to do every day, I can see all these reasons why, and you build it up so much in your brain that you never execute because it seems so big and so important, and you have every little detail figured out in your head. How are you going to fit that into your real life? And so part of it was just, for me at least, acknowledging that it's not, the reality of it is that it's not that it's too difficult, it's that I am making it seem like this big thing. And, you know, realistically, it is big. Like, if your dream is to write a novel and get it published, that's a big deal. It's your dream. But the day-to-day aspect of it, the only big thing there is the risk that you run of maybe it doesn't work out. And a lot of time that can be a big barrier to entry, and it is for me in a lot of ways, not just writing, but also working out and eating right, because not only historically has it not gone well, so I'm afraid of failing again, but also because it's so easy to maintain that illusion in your mind, and you can think of yourself as this, if you live in the world of possibility all the time, you can think of yourself as this other person. And when you have to reconcile the two, it's difficult. It makes you take a sharper look at your life, and yeah, I feel like I'm rambling again. All I want to say is that I understand that it's difficult, and I feel like a lot of it is a mental block that's hard to get around. But once you acknowledge that the minutiae of every day is not your problem, it's your mind, at least for me, it can make it at least easier to get past, because you know it's not that big thing. Like, writing every day for an hour is what I'm doing, because that's taking my big goal that I built up in my mind for years and made me feel like I could never do it, like I could never risk that dream by doing it. You know, if I do it, I might fail, and I don't want to risk that. But 1 hour every day isn't that big a risk, and that's where I'm starting, at least. So I don't know if that helped at all, but I've been thinking a lot of the same things, and that's where I've gone with it. But granted, it's different. It's about writing, so hopefully that didn't seem too flippant or blasé about your problems. Well, that's all I had to say for serious stuff. Now for fun. So Kristen Falls showed us her Groot pop figurine earlier, and I actually have a lot of pop figurines. I was all for Kristen starting her action figurines collection, so I kind of wanted to show mine off. If you guys don't mind, I'm going to take a camera around and show you. So I lined these up because they were all over the house. So there's Boo, BMO, Agent Coulson, 2 different versions of the Hulk. I also have George Michael and Job from Arrested Development. And, oh, I have candles in the way. Hold on. So these candles are awesome. They're book themed. This one, hold on, we'll let her focus. Yeah. It's called Christmas at the Burrow, and the other one's called Bookstore, which is just my favorite. But anyway, it's Sam and Dean and Castiel, which Kristen Falls has already seen. And then Baymax from Big Hero 6. I loved that movie. I think I might show you guys my house eventually, because I think that'd be fun, but you let me know if that's something you want to see. I might just make it anyway, so. Anyway, I love you guys a bunch. Sorry, my camera's on a tripod, so it's like really hard to do this. Anyway, I love you guys a ton, and I hope I get to talk to you soon. And I'm looking forward to seeing all your videos and hearing about your life. I'd love to hear about how your opera scenes went, Kristen Falls, and about how Kristen Stiles is doing her new job. And I will let you guys know about the new developments in my life too. I love you guys. Bye.